day 6 of the Bums and Tums challenge here in Bacon Fueled Fitness. I am Coach Mack, your Bums and Tums coach for the next 4 more days after today. And tomorrow, just a heads up, tomorrow will not be live. I can't make that time, and so I'll just post a regular video. So once my Bums and Tums recover from today, I'm going to record tomorrow's, and then I'll post it in the morning. Just so you know, like, to be upfront, I'm not going to try to trick you into thinking it's live. So anyways, tomorrow, yeah, get ready. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure it's going to be spicy. So I'm going to start my timer. We're going to start on the ground. We're doing a whole bunch of clamshell type stuff today for our bums and then some crunches for our tums. So meet me down on the ground. I'm going to start. We're on one side doing some clamshells. And if you can hear, they are mowing outside. I closed all the windows, but I'm sure it's still annoying. So we're doing clamshells on this first side. We're similar to, I think, was it yesterday or the day before? My days are running together now. But we are going to do one side, and then we're doing 2 exercises on this one side, and then we're going to flip over to the other side, and then we're going to do some other clamshell stuff. You wait. Don't worry. It's all going to make sense. But the burn is going to be real, is what I'm trying to say. We are going to light up our buns today. So it's a 10-minute Bums and Tums. Hold on. Time. So our next movement is still that same clamshell, but we are going to add a leg lift. So in 3 seconds, we will lift up on the clamshell, and then you lift your foot up as well, and then your foot goes back down. So it's like, I don't know, an accordion clamshell thing. So we're doing this again on the same side. You can, and by the way, that was a very awkward rep. So you can be up on your elbow, you can be down here, totally up to you. But we have our hips stacked and do the clamshell, and your foot goes back down, close the clamshell. I don't remember what I was saying when that time ended. I don't know, maybe it'll come back to me. But we are feeling the burn today. Oh yeah, this is a 10-minute Bums and Tums. 7 of the minutes today are going to be on our bums, 3 minutes on our tums. So, whew, my butt is feeling it. Okay, go ahead and flip sides. So more clamshells. Again, doesn't matter if you're here, down on the ground, if you're up on your elbow, whatever is most comfortable for you. Regular clamshells on this other side, opening up, and you will feel one side is easier to do this movement. I've just made that really awkward. One side will be easier because more likely than not, your hip is stronger on that side, like your butt, that hip is your dominant hip. So this side is way easier for me to feel like I'm doing it correctly. And we want to keep our hips stacked. So when we do our clamshell, we are lifting our leg, but we are not like leaning back and opening our hips. It is just our butt is doing the opening of our clamshell here. So our hips stay square to the front, stacked one on top of the other. You can have your hand here to kind of help remind you to keep your hip still. Time. And then we have our opening. So clamshell open, leg comes up, or foot comes up, foot goes down, and then close your clamshell on this other side here. So open up, foot goes up, foot goes down, and back. And it's kind of just, so you're working deep into your hip rotators here. So still working our bums, but then adding a component to it to make it just a little bit more challenging so that the burn is a little bit more real. And it is. I can feel it. So if you can feel the burn intensify as we do this other variation, then my guess is you were doing it correctly. Remember to keep those hips stacked. As you get tired, you're going to want to open your hips up to make it a little easier. Don't do that. Make your butt still do the work here. We've got less than 10. Ooh, that was an awkward rep. Okay. And time. And I want you to roll onto your back. We are doing hip lifts or hip bridges with a clamshell. So we're going to lift up, clamshell our knees out, and then back and down. So up, Knees go out, back in, and then down. And we want really good technique in that we want to keep our ribs in. We're flexing our butt here, and then even more with our legs clamshelling out. You should for sure be feeling the burn here. My buns are on fire right now. My buns are toast. We're halfway. If it sounds like I'm yelling, I kind of am a little bit because I want to make sure you can hear me over the mowers, because for me, the mowers are really loud. So I'm sure it's annoying on the video if you can hear the mowers, but I still want to make sure you can hear me. So doing our clamshells here, 3, 2, and 1, time. So now we are going to hold a hip lift and have one leg come out at a time. So join me here in this hip lift. So hips are up, ribs are in, and you are just tapping the same leg for this whole time out to the side. Almost like if hip lift and a clamshell had half a baby. This is what it would be. So your hips stay up. We're working our butt the whole time, keeping those ribs in. Remember, if your ribs are popping up and out towards the ceiling, that likely means your low back is doing the work. We don't want that. So pull them in, and then you are using your butt muscles, your hips here, to have your leg tap out and back in. And I want your whole leg, like a windshield wiper, to move out. I don't want you to just whip your toe out and have your knee go in. Your whole leg comes out and then back in a windshield wiper fashion. Time. Whew, that other leg, that stability leg, on fire. So now we're switching sides, doing that kind of windshield wiper toe tap with the other leg. So hips come on up, and then toe tapping out. I call it a toe tap, but it's really your whole leg is going out, and you just tap your toe out to the side and back in. It really is that windshield wiper versus whipping your toe out and back in, if that makes sense. And every now and then, make sure you're doing a hip check. So bring those hips back up and ribs in, and then carry on with your toe taps. Oh, the burn. Everything just got way more intense when I took a deep breath. So if that happened for you too, thumbs up, you're doing it right. Oh my gosh, but we go to abs after this. We go to the Tums portion. Whew, time. Oh man, take a deep breath. We have some crunches here. So just regular, traditional, everyday crunches for the 50 seconds. So you're here, you are bringing those ribs closer to your hip bones. So that's how we know our abs are working. Whew, they're already tired. But you want to shorten the distance between your rib bones and your hip bones. So in order for your muscles to contract, to shorten, that's where the motion needs to take place. So it doesn't really matter how far up you go in your crunch. I want you to focus more on this shortening your torso distance, contracting right there. So that's the goal. And you can have your hands behind your neck, behind your head, whatever's comfortable for you, but it's just, a little crunch up and then back down. And time. And so we're going to do now same crunches, but butterfly legs, different angles of your abs. That's all we're doing here. So same principle applies. Whew. Crunching, shortening the distance from our ribs to our hip bones. My abs are getting so tired, and you'll just feel it a little bit differently. So that's all that happens here when we do these different ab variations, is we're getting different angles, different positions. Oh, but it all still burns. Oh, we are way over halfway though, so keep going. And then we just have one left, one Tums exercise left. And you guessed it, it is a crunch variation. So we are just hitting it hard today. Whew. 3, 2, 1, time. So our last crunch variation, you are going to just have your legs up in the air, and we are going to crunch up and
I'm going to reach for my toes. You can keep your hands here if you want. Totally up to you. Like if you just want to do your crunches here. I like to reach for my toes just to give me something to reach toward. However, if you are going to just bring your feet closer and just do that, then don't reach for your toes. Do this kind of crunch where you get that full range of motion. Don't cheat the movement here. You showed up. You may as well get the most out of it, right? So I just have my legs, I try to keep them straight up and down. Whew. And then just try to reach for my toes. And I'm not anywhere close. I'm at my ankles. So that's what I mean. If you're super flexible and you just bring your toes to your hands, not the same exercise. So less than 10, finish this out. Whew. Finish up day 6. 3, 2, and 1, time. Oh my gosh, we made it. Whew. Take a big deep breath. Do a cobra stretch. Oh, it's real. But you just did day 6 out of 10. That means we only have 4 left. We are cruising through this 10-day challenge. Again, do not underestimate the power of 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. Just a couple minutes, it all adds up. So if you are moving, it counts. So when you are done with today, day 6, I almost just said day 7. I got ahead of myself. But when you're done with day 6, post a check mark or raise your hand, say done in the comments, however you want to help hold yourself accountable. You are freaking doing it. I will see you. Not tomorrow. It won't be live. Remember, I'll post though, and then I'll see you live for real on Thursday.